I think the trailers are lying again. They promise kind of a dark comedy crime spree that is essentially about this guy murdering his way through his family to being rich in in increasingly weird ways. And like that scene with the anchor, where he ties the anchor to his, I think it's cousin's foot. And as he introduces himself, the guy gets pulled to his death. That's in the trailer. And that's as wacky as it gets, basically. So I think the trailer sets the wrong expectation. What this actually is a story about the human heart in conflict with itself, because the whole thing is actually a setup for Beckett to have to choose between two possible lives and what kind of person he wants to be. Everything else that happens in the movie after the initial killings is a reflection of that. And the ending, like I think Herbert, you mentioned the ending. I think the ending is great, because the entire movie is built towards a particular payoff. And you can like or dislike that ending, but it's there and it's deliberate. And the entire movie is engineered to lead to that point. And then it ends on an ambiguous note that you can think about and debate and argue about. And you can accept it, you can reject it, you can tear it apart, you can celebrate it, but it's there and it's deliberate and it is what it wants to be. And that is what endings should do.
It's not as simple as you would think. Like I said, there's ambiguity, there's reasoning which makes sense, very compelling, cohesive. Like when you actually, after the conversation, it makes you realize that this movie, there's a lot to it. There's not just one layer, there's layers on top of layers. So I think the trailer did it a disservice, and the marketing.
And it shows that you can do other genres for lower budget and not just horror movies that are like, this size and like go on to make a profit. And I hope this one does go on to make a profit. It just kind of shows what movies should be. Like, not everything needs to be, this like cinematic masterpiece and, this Oscar-worthy movie. Sometimes you just want to go to the movies and just have a good time. And I think this encapsulates it perfectly, whilst also being a little bit more clever with its writing than sort of most movies are today, and sort of a little bit more nuanced in what it's trying to say, and like actually exploring its themes. Again, we always say it, like, it doesn't really cost when you have these big blockbusters that are just like complete nonsense in the writing. It's like, you don't need all the money in the world to write a competent story, and this movie highlights that significantly.
This is what movies should be, right? It's a small story. It's an original story. You walk into the cinema or however you're going to see it, and it just gives you a story that is worth engaging with. And it sets out to be a thing, and it accomplishes that. And the result is a good movie. Who would have known?